Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. We've just had a big celebration, it was May the 4th, and of course in the Star Wars fandom we call May 5th, Revenge of the 5th. I hope you guys had some amazing Star Wars fun. Whether you bought some merch, some Lego sets, whether you just kicked back on the couch and watched your favourite Star Wars movie or show, or maybe you attended the 25th anniversary of episode 1, whatever you did, I hope you had some fun. So we do have some Star Wars updates, but the major highlight of this video is the Acolyte final trailer. What everyone is talking about is that we get our first glimpse at the villain of the show. Is this the Sith? I've got mixed feelings about them. On the one hand, their entrance was very dramatic and epic, and the lighting of this scene lends to it. But I also feel as though this is very similar to recent villains like the Knights of Ren. I wasn't blown away by the character design in this reveal, but I understand they're trying to keep the identity of this character a secret. And you know, it is possible this isn't even a Sith. They could just be a dark side apprentice, which would make sense, because the Sith are very secretive. It is not yet time for the Sith to reveal themselves. This would only happen in the prequel trilogy. At this stage, a century before Darth Bane's grand plan comes to fruition, the Sith know to be subtle and in the shadows, unless all of the Jedi who see them die. But here's the thing, the showrunner Leslye Headland did say there are going to be multiple Force groups, so the assumption is this is a Sith, but it might not be, because when the Sith do reveal themselves in the Phantom Menace, when Maul says, "At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi, at last we will have revenge," this had been premeditated for absolute centuries going back to Darth Bane. And the Sith, I know it's legends, but the Sith around at this time like Plagueis and Tenebrous are also all about secrecy. The grand plan relied on it. Here's how it's described. During previous millennia, the Sith had attempted unsuccessfully to be direct in destroying the Jedi, but it didn't work. So they tried the direct approach, ignite your lightsaber, take them head on, but evidently this didn't work. So with the grand plan, they acknowledged the difficulties this would pose and the fact they were severely outnumbered. And so, the plan was to infiltrate the Republic and hijack it from within. We need to understand the Sith were very, very cunning and intelligent, and such is the case of those around during this time. As I say, my dear friends, Disney canon can change all of this, but I hope they don't. So when fans are like, is this Darth Plagueis, is it Darth Tenebrous? I severely doubt it. But if this does happen to be a Sith, in terms of aesthetic, I do imagine something a bit more intimidating, but that being said, the surprise is the secret of who they are. Is it going to be Manny Jacinto's Quimia? And the reason we suspect the smuggler Quimia is the fact he is talking badly about the arrogance of the position and authority of the Jedi. He says they justify their governance with peace, but that is not who they are. And what is really at the heart of this trailer is the fact the Jedi are being portrayed as liars. The peace they claim to be so adherent to is a lie. They're not peacekeepers. They kidnap children, as the assassin knows all too well because of course she is the twin of the character taken in by the Jedi who turned to the dark. And we finally get the Jedi reaction to when they come across this dark side user. I'm not going to assume they're a Sith. Master Sol, Lee Jung-jae's character, says, "What are you?" They wield the blade of a Jedi, but they're not. So it really comes as a shock, in an age of enlightenment, in an age of prosperity, that the Jedi are forced to confront the darkness. Now right off the bat I've got to say this trailer is way more visually impressive than the first. It's more succinct, it's grander in scope, there are some fantastic, phenomenal looking shots, and I love the way they did Coruscant, very reminiscent of episodes 1, 2 and 3. That being said, there is a major difference. If you look closely, the Jedi Temple is more elevated than what we're used to. There is symbolism in the fact that during this time, the Jedi are more out of touch with the rest of the galaxy and less down to earth. They're at their most pompous and self-important. You know, we often criticize the Jedi Council during the time of the Republic, but 100 years prior during the High Republic, it was on a different scale, and this lasted quite a long time. As we see in the most recent book, The Living Force by John Jackson Miller, even in the decades prior to episode 1, a Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn stood out because he was selfless, and often called out the arrogance. Their overall attitude was insufferable to the rest of the galaxy. One shot I really enjoy is of Dean Charles Chapman's eyes, which turn black, under the spell of the Coven of Witches, the mysterious Force cult. Some planets are definitely derivative of those we know, This looks like Aldani, some fans think this is Ahch-To, but I'm gonna say there are enough differences for me to assume they're new planets entirely. Some of the shots are Andor-esque, but I'm still leaning on a cautious approach when I say this. I don't know if the production value is the same. What I've been seeing is that there are a lot of mixed feelings, and I think part of this is due to the fact there is so much unknown. A new time period, apart from Venestra, mostly new characters. It's adding to the Star Wars universe something we've never seen before. So of course there is going to be some uncertainty, apathy, cautious optimism, but I will be breaking down every episode and I can't wait to cover it next month. I'm also a fan of the fact we're getting chase sequences, spaceship battles, actual Star Wars, so I'm keeping an open mind. Some of it looks great, other parts I'm wondering, is this series everything it promises? We're only a month away, so we're gonna have to wait and see. And for those fans who went to see the Phantom Menace 25th and got a preview of The Acolyte at the end, the fight between Mae the Assassin, which is Amandla Stenberg's character, and Master Indara, Space Trinity as we call her, it was visually more impressive on the big screen, and encouraging. And during that sequence, just like Master Sol is surprised when he sees the dark side user, Master Indara is so shocked that this assassin has the Force. She says, "Who trained you?" She is trying to decipher who is behind this. I'm also thinking Lee Jung-jae was the perfect choice for Master Sol. He really is at the centre of this show, and Leslye Headland said it was while she was watching Squid Game she knew that was her Master Sol. That was who had to portray this character. And as I said, a little bit of news for The Acolyte. We have this awesome poster, and look, we have the twins. One version of Amandla and the other. And they've also introduced us to a brand new droid that is going to feature in the show. Do you remember before Obi-Wan dropped, they introduced Lola? Well now, meet Pip, a chipper, handheld repair droid created by legend Neil Scanlon. He's the person who designed BB-8, as well as an array of other characters from the sequel trilogy. And one final update, did you know the Phantom Menace re-release has opened to a box office of $2.3 million? One of the biggest opening days for a film's re-release in history. This is huge, and it tells us the fans have spoken. Fans love nostalgia and want to see good movies, their favourite movies on the big screen. But with this said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. What did you think of the Acolyte trailer? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.